Good morning, YouTube. From 1377 to 1322. Yes, we did it. No parts needed to be ordered. Well, that's because I had some parts. All right. Now, some of you will recall I bought my 1322 back from a friend of mine. And it had a steel breech on it. And yeah, a couple barrels he gave me back with it and some other goodies like bolts and the original handle for the breech. Anyway, he did a bit of a nasty job on that thing. I always harp on this kid about proper tools, and oh boy. Anyway, I don't know how he did it, but somehow he managed to bugger up the tube on the 1322 that, well, it's just not usable anymore. And where the breech screws in on the tube, well, that's somehow been oversized. At least he didn't screw up the actual screw itself. So I don't know what the hell went on with oversizing the hole, but I don't know. And he buggered up the back screw on the hand grip. Of course, he lost the parts for the safety, so whatever. I bought the 1377 because I as soon as I bought this thing off him for $50, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna need parts, so I figured we'll get a 1377. Now I didn't know the condition of the tube at the time. The gun was assembled, okay. However, when you start digging into a project, you start finding stuff out, and you're like, man, seriously? And I don't know what he used to lube that thing with, but you want to talk about blacker than tar. But at least it wasn't gummy, so I know he didn't use WD-40. I've had customers in the past that use that stuff, and it's like, my gun doesn't want to pump up anymore, and it's kind of really goopy, and yeah, that's what WD-40 will do. And yeah, the smell of WD-40 never leaves, right? Anyways, so yes, now we have to train customers again and again and again because they'll use anything. Anyway, 30 weight non-detergent motor oil, kids. Or if you want, you can use Crosman pellet gun oil, but it does cause premature shrinkage and discoloring of seals. Okay, but that's the whole point of that stuff, other than as a lubricant. That's what Crosman does, but it will cause you to replace the seals in your guns more often. It's called the money maker for the parts because they get you on the parts. But whenever I use 30 weight non-detergent motor oil, I put a gun together and yeah, it doesn't blow the seals for years and years. Okay, stuff works great. Anyway, just use it sparingly because, yeah, 30 weight motor oil has got some thickness to it, which is good, but it also stays around for quite a long time, which is nice. So anyway, I got the value in this, first off, okay? To buy the 1322 shooter's kit, which nobody in Canada has right now, okay? You're talking 170 bucks Canadian, okay? But nobody has it, so I thought, well, crap, that's out. Because I needed another 22 caliber gun for grouse hunting, and I can't shoot my power-rated air rifle at the property, so, you know, I rent, so we have some rules. Non-PAL is okay, bows are okay, guns, Anyways, so I figured, well, you know, I don't really like the idea of a pump up. I wanted CO2, so I figured, well, I'll build another 2240 to a certain point, right, and not spend $600 again. But then that became an idea that went the way of the dodo. Nobody's got 2240s anywhere in Canada. What the hell? Even Crosman has nothing in stock in Canada. So even to get just the pistol, it's like, because I could just swap the stock, right? Not going to happen. But mind you, you can buy the stock at least at one or two places. Some parts you might be able to find, like a barrel. Okay, steel breeches, yeah, forget it. Nobody, well, actually, I think I found one place last night that has steel breech. But doesn't matter. He already had the steel breech on this, so we're all good. I did get my value, though, in the end, because the stock is almost $40 now Canadian, which is quite the ripoff. The breeches have gone upwards to $90. I'm like, this is starting to sound like we might as well just, I don't know, but this is getting costly. And people say, air guns are cheaper, or no. A lot of people have told me real guns are cheaper. And it's like, well, actually they're not. But air guns are just as equally expensive. So, but you know, this is non-PAL territory, and you can do engross with this quite easily, and squirrels, just not blacks and grays. Don't even bother. But anyway, this at least is not affected by cold weather shooting. So I reconsidered my CO2 idea, because yeah, CO2 gas, once you drop below 16 degrees, you're so screwed. So pump up it is, and I'll just have it pre-pumped, sit it in the corner, and you know, when I'm ready for seeing a grouse, I can load her up and ping and get my grouse. Anyways, so that'll work. So anyway, but I did get the value. It did cost me $104. Now, my investment into this was equal to just buying a 1322 shooter kit, but I also got the bonus of extras, right? So I got the breech as an extra. That saves me 90 bucks, right? Which I think one place I found had one, maybe. But there's shipping on that too. So it's like, that's stupid. Because the shooter's kit, by the way, does not come with a steel breech. It's just plastic breech, right? Anyways, so I got my value here. The breech is fine. It's okay. At least you didn't bugger that, other than the lockdown screw up top, for the barrel lockdown, like up in this area. Those threads are completely buggered, but it doesn't matter, okay? It will not make any difference at all if that's there or not, okay? But the important one is the breech screw has to be in there. So we had to reuse the one that came with this because it's a bit bigger diameter than the original one. So they've made some changes. We're going to discuss that in another video. But anyways, and of course I got a working safety. The other gun, he lost the parts for the safety. So we technically, all we really did here in the end was we reused the stock. We took the valve out of the other gun and I rebuilt the valve, so it's built anew again. So we got that done. So we got a brand new full power valve in here. The transfer port we were able to take out of the other 1322, utilize that. So with all the parts I reused, including the 14-inch barrel that I cut down and put a 90-degree crown on, I did save a lot of money here. I really did by doing this. So, but at the same time, I cannot rebuild the other one into a Canadian 1377. It's completely screwballed. Okay, just the tube alone stopped that project from happening. Now, when you are going to do this kind of conversion from a 14-inch barrel onto one of these things, it's important to have this longer style, so the new style front sight, because you don't have a tapered end on this barrel. You're cutting it at 90 degrees, and there was no taper to begin with on a 14. So now I'm not going to sit here and explain the entire process. If you want to know the entire process and every tool that you're going to need to do this yourself at home and to do it right, leave comments down below for a request for that kind of a video on how to actually do this with minimal tools, okay? Because you don't need a machine shop like I used to have. You can do this old school, and if you do it according to the way I tell you, it will turn out absolutely perfect, okay? You just got to listen to what I'm explaining to you in that video. But I'd like to see that as a request because I'm kind of curious about the airgun community wanting to know more about how to do this sort of stuff with minimal tools, because everybody knows that these are moddable guns right to the limits, okay? Same as the 22X series, right? But this is no longer a 1377 because it has a 22 caliber barrel on it, okay? And this is also under 500 feet per second. We're also going to crony this thing for you with some 14.3 grain Crosman pointed pellets for the crony purposes. I don't have any 13.8s, or I would have done 13.8s. So we're going to use, 14.3, okay? And we'll see our crony results at 10 pumps and see how she goes for us. And I don't think we'll have any problems. Yeah, not bad. So this project is now complete, other than I have to bore sight it. I have to sight it in completely, because bore sighting is only lining the scope up to the center of the bore of the barrel. So we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to sight it in, shoot the snot out of it, figure out what of all my pellet choices it likes. I'm really hoping I can get Predator polymags to work, because they are great for whacking grouse with, and squirrels and rabbits and such. So it's a good small game hunting gun. I'm not using it for target practice other than to get it sighted in. It's going to be my little hunting gun for when I'm, hunting out for deer, and while I'm waiting, just pump it up, 10 times, leave it in the corner, see a grouse, and go fetch and collect as I go. Now, other than that, if you have any questions otherwise, feel free to ask. Stay tuned for the crony video. Just waiting for it to get a little bit older in the morning. It's 7 in the morning, so I want to wait till the sunshine comes up, warms up a little bit outside, and we'll bring the crony out. And later today, I will upload a video with the crony results of what I've done, and we'll see how that goes, and you can see what happens there. Okay. And then after that, I think that'll be the last video on that gun, other than if you want to know how I did all that to the barrel and how it all worked out and what was involved in putting the gun back together, because it's not as straightforward as you might think. A few little tricks had to be used, and you'll need to know those. But otherwise, we're good. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.